Warning: the content of this podcast may offend you. If you are a snowflake or easily offended, please stop watching now.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fight back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rubber City Throwdown, the official voices of Honor Fighting Championship and Cage Thunder. What's going on?
Man, exciting weekend.
Exciting weekend.
It was fun.
Busy week, busy weekend.
And, fight week, just nonstop. Getting ready to, do some special things with Jeremy. The wrestling last night. What did you think of the setup?
The setup was beautiful. It was a lot better. Like when Jimmy was talking about it, and he's trying to explain it, and you're trying to imagine it. You're like, oh, they look pretty cool. You're trying to picture it. In the Chapparelles,
and different than it was.
And actually seeing it in person above the ring with the lighting and seeing how the lights were working, it looked really good. And if they could implement that in the Honor Fighting Championship event on the 19th, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, from a production point of view,
that's like a next level.
Yeah,
as far as like Northeast Ohio mixed martial arts go, that's like next level production. So.
Yeah, and it's like last night I did a little live video, and I was like, sneak peek behind me. It's going to be a little bit different for the cage, but it was literally like you could just look at it and be like, damn, that's awesome. Like I was waiting for some wrestlers to try and climb it, didn't happen, but it was. Yeah,
well, according to Jimmy, those what are they called?
The truss.
The trusses. The trussels they can hold 1,400 pounds.
Yeah, something like that. So more than any one wrestler is going to climb on it. So
yeah, but the setup was really nice. Real quick shout out to our sponsors, Cage Thunder. They got an event coming up February 2nd. Honor Fighting Championship, January 19th.
And March 23rd.
March 23rd, too, yep.
Chapparelles.
Spinebuster University, we just had tryouts today.
Yeah, it was
pretty,
fun to watch.
Yeah, it was entertaining to watch, man. Yeah. Like, you had, like the boss man himself said, you had the ones that stood out, and then you wanted the ones that didn't, and I actually got more entertainment out of the watch. And the ones who weren't really coordinated enough to hit some of these moves that they were having these guys do. So really,
and they were all hurting.
Yeah,
like there was no one just breezed through that tryout. It was.
Yeah, they were all sucking wind. One guy left. He passed out in the chair
from nerves.
Was it anxiety?
He was just sitting there, and then boom, done.
Yeah, he just we thought the chair broke.
Yeah.
Turns out the chair didn't, bro. He passed out in the chair, and up to that point, all they had done was air squats, push-ups,
and
lunges. Fuck, that dude couldn't make one round of 250s, man. That
dude
would be done after a set.
I think he was next in line to go in the ring and do the off the rope bumps.
Right.
And he was just all of a sudden, like, we just hear the chair, and we're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He's like, nah, and then, yeah, he I mean, he had some heart. He was like, no, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep going. And he just walked out. Yeah. Him and his girl or his sister, whoever the hell she was, they packed their shit, and they left.
He stuck around for a couple more exercises, but the more he did, he was just like, I'm not ready.
And then, there were definitely guys who looked physically in shape who even said, "Man, this hurts."
Yeah, and they didn't expect. They expected a trampoline, not a ring.
The one guy they had those thick mats, and they were doing those flip bumps, and it didn't look like he was gonna make it, man. I thought that we were about to see like the first death of Spinebuster University.
Pile drived himself straight into the.
Oh my. But like I said, entertaining to watch, none the least. Yeah. But and then with the last sponsor being Ohio Championship Wrestling, and the OCW had a fantastic event last night at the Chapparelles. It was a good test event for Jeremy and the OCW, kind of get their test, because they usually have their events at the school. They're no longer doing this, so they picked a new venue.
And that school sells out. Right. There's only 250 to 300 people, like right around there, and that's what they had last night. So they retained their fans at a new location. The weather sucked, the weather was horrible,
and even with the shit weather, they still had a good turnout.
Yeah, they the same as every other show. Now that everybody's seen that, the production part of it, they know where it's at. It should only get bigger. Right, more people. He now has 7 new students. 7 people made it.
Oh, 7 out of the 11 that tried
out. 7 made it, so who knows, man? And he said he's going to start bringing some bigger names in, guest appearances, try to really step it up. So as far as pro wrestling side of things locally, he's got a lot going on. So
I'm curious to see how their next event goes, which is February 11th or something like that. It was coming up. It's like the second week of February. They've got another. I think it's like a Valentine's Day type of show. I could be wrong though.
The 9th, February 9th.
Could be.
Yeah, it's the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th. So yeah, one of those. Damn it, Scott Corbin! We're doing the podcast. Call me.
But then, speaking of the event in the Chapparelles, if you guys are interested in attending the Honor Fighting Championship 7, it is at the Chapparelles Event Center at 2481 South Arlington Road in Akron, Ohio. That's 44319. You can also visit the website honorfightingchampionship.com for more information as well. You could also check out an updated fight card and buy your tickets at www.fightertix.com. You could also buy your tickets specifically for your favorite fighter or any fighter that you want to support. Remember to always support your local fighter. A lot of these guys, in this case, this event is an all amateur card. These guys do not get paid, so your ticket sales will definitely help out these guys who are taking time out of their busy lifestyle to entertain you, the fans.
And also, if you know anyone looking to sponsor some fights, this cage behind us over here has got some empty spots. The rails, the pads. I know there's some packages available to get your logo on there. So if you know anyone, or if anyone watching wants to, get a hold of us and we'll get you connected with the right people to do that.
Right on, definitely. And then, so talking about Honor Fighting Championship 7 a little bit, a couple changes. We talked a couple weeks about the obvious heavyweight change where Chuck Clamp was supposed to be fighting Tyree Johnson. Tyree's no longer fighting on this card because Chuck wasn't going to be able to make weight at heavyweight. Yeah. So now George Pointer has stepped in at super heavyweight to make that fight happen. Tyree is
on the second
for Cage Thunder. I don't know. I think they're still looking for an opponent for him.
No, he has one. He has an opponent now. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
So then, he's all set to go in the second.
And then Chris Porter is out due to an injury. Him and Parker Wills out of Victory MMA were supposed to go at it. And And then a big one was the William Ferguson is out due to an injury. He was supposed to be going up against Alex Johnson for the 55 amateur honor title.
I wanted to see that fight.
Yeah, that was going to be a good fight. But shit happens, injuries happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's nothing you can really do. It just sucked that it happened this close to the event.
Yeah, and I mean, the main event, there's still a amazing main event.
Right, because now Jamal McClain and Michael Ado are now stepping into that main event and the main event slot. So
and with the welterweight title being vacant now, up for grabs, without going into too much detail, that sets up some interesting events and matchups down the road, leading up to Nautica in August.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting, but
with that, with those updates and those fights no longer happening, we're now down to 14 fights on this card, which is a good number.
It's a good number.
Usually the number that you try to hit. I know Scott will usually try to get around 17 or 18 fights, and I think that most matchmakers will do something similar to that because they anticipate
someone missing weight.
Yeah, they're going to be
not
fights,
showing up. Yeah,
exactly. So, out of these 17 fights, I believe that were originally supposed to be on here, now we're down to 14. And unless someone misses weight or doesn't show up, that is the number that we'll be looking at for this event on this upcoming Saturday. Talk a little bit about the card. We'll start with the relative unknown, the unranked, the debuts. We got a Devin Lyons and a Gavin Sheed. Two guys making their debut. This is a 185-pound match. So the middleweight. Both fighters are obviously they're unranked.
Yeah. And seeing new 185s is refreshing because there are not a lot of 85ers.
I want to see new heavyweights. To be honest, I mean,
well, the heavyweights are all trying to go 205.
It's like all the heavyweights. You don't see any established heavyweights anymore. Like I said, a lot of the heavyweights that you see now, and we'll get to when we get to the heavyweight fight that's on this card. But they're new. They're 0-1, 1-1, 1-2. They don't have more. Typically, don't have more than 3 fights. Which is I'm surprised they were able to get Tyree a fight as quickly as they did. I mean, he's got like 21 fights or something like that. So, but yeah. So with these two guys, like I said, relative unknowns. They're making their debut. Again, I'm glad to see a middleweight fight happening, especially two guys making their debut. Let's get some more action in the middleweight division. Let's get some more people fighting at this weight class so we can start stacking this card up. That being said, with both of these fighters, say we don't know anything about
unknown.
them. So one of my favorite things about amateur mixed martial arts and interviewing guys making their debut is learning who they are, how they train, where they're from. I think Devin, is from Massillon, if I'm not mistaken. But again, we don't know anything about these guys. So when we interview them at this show, it's we get to learn a little bit about them.
Yeah, and if
watch them grow, to watch them grow, see where else they're going to compete at, and
I know we've said it before, but like when new guys get on a card, the more you message us and let us know, the more we can talk about. And then if you don't, you have to give us something to talk about in the fight.
I don't expect guys making their debut to hit us up. Hell, most of them probably don't even know who we are or what we do. Hell, they probably won't even know who we are until we actually tag them in this podcast and they see that we actually mention their name at some point during the show. But you can no longer message the podcast page. I'm done dealing with all you fuck boys that want to message me talking shit. You guys are more than welcome to come down to the gym and fucking spar with me any day, man. I'll be more than.
Or just put it on the page so everyone can see how dumb you are.
I'm not dealing with that shit anymore because it's just dumb, ignorant people at that point that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But so yeah, anytime you guys wanna say something, you guys need to say something, message me personally, or just come down to Apex Fight Systems, located at 21 North Arlington in Akron, Ohio. I'll be more than happy to throw some gloves on.
Right. Sit down and talk, or stand up and throw.
I'm a good sport, man. I have no problem in throwing gloves with anyone, really. But Lawrence O'Malley, Bryce Guthrie. It's another fight. Cornered O'Malley at Cage Thunder, the last Cage Thunder event.
Yeah, and he's cutting weight for the first time too. He's
yeah, this is at 155. This first one he fought Eddie Flinner at 70.
Yeah, so he was a tall kid, decent size, especially for a 55er. So another one where we know a little bit about one guy. So, but I expect that to most likely be just a stand up.
I think Bryce trains with Casey Turnbull.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. But I want to say that they've at least trained together. At least they know each other. I want to say around that Coshocton area. I want to say. I think that's where he's at. I think Bryce is one of the Coshocton guys. But yeah, Lawrence, he's been putting videos up, training.
I wonder if that was the guy he dropped with a body shot. Because I saw a video the other day, and Turnbull, they were sparring a little bit, and he's popped him with a liver shot and just dropped him. And then Casey walks away laughing, which is great. Because anytime you drop someone with a liver shot, it's funny as hell to you.
Yeah.
But it was a good video. So.
But what do you think about Lawrence's his striking right now? Because you see a guy, he's 0-1. He lost by a north-south choke in the first round. He didn't get an opportunity to really showcase any stand-up, but now he's posting videos of him training, hitting a bag, hitting mids, stuff like that. What do you see, and what do you think he needs to work on? At least, I wouldn't say going into this fight now because we're a week out. So any changes that he's going to try to make now is completely irrelevant.
It's going to be too late.
Yeah, it's going to be too late.
I'm sure I'll talk to him. He's messaged me a couple times, but if he can relax for this fight, however he's going to throw punches, kicks, whatever, if he can relax and do it, 10 times better than things I've had seen.
Right.
As far as what I have seen, is a little sloppy and out of control because he doesn't have the technique to throw as hard as he tries to on a heavy bag. That's all I've seen. So, it could be just bag work, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, or he's just getting amped up to throw real hard, because a lot of guys do that when they're new. They try to throw everything with every single amount of energy behind it that they have, and that's not always a good thing.
Right.
But like I said, for this fight, don't listen to anything I just said. Stay calm and keep your head in that fight. But like I said, it's probably going to be a stand-up slugfest. Open hooks, wide punches, overhand rights.
One can only hope.
Right.
That's what people go to see. And then how about Jacob Brown? And he's going up against Fabian Tapiavilla.
Great name. Great name. Like I said, I don't know either guy.
I don't know either guy. Fabian is 0-2, and Jacob is making his debut.
But make a name for yourself. You got the name.
Now make it, right?
But yeah, it's give us something to talk about. And especially, we're also going to be doing the commentating on the fights too, so we will have something to talk about, after the interviews and everything, but, it's another fight that I wish we had more information on, but we don't.
And is it Bailey Likens? And he's going up against Tyler Lapone. Is it Lapone?
I think it's Lapone, yeah.
Again, Bailey's he's making his debut. Tyler is 0-1.
I'm pretty sure Tyler's more of a I want to say boxer. I know he does jiu-jitsu as well. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure he was boxing. And the other guy, his nickname should be the werewolf or something close to that.
Yeah, with that last
Lycan,
name.
yeah. But I think is that it? Bantamweight?
I think it's featherweight actually, but I have to double check. Now, what I like about is featherweight. What I like about this fight, man, and what I like about Tyler is he went up against Doug Lewis, his first fight, and he was winning that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he was bad. Like,
Yeah.
he had Doug in a very bad spot, and because I remember talking about this fight on the recap. I think it was Honor 3 that we did. It was like last March, and I remember talking about this in the recap on how like Doug's ability to adapt and come back in the second round and win was amazing, especially how bad he had lost the first round. So Tyler is not a bad fighter. He's 0-1, but he was winning hard in that first fight. A lot of guys when they make their debut, there isn't a lot of skill there, and that's where it opens a fighter up to learn and become a better fighter later down the road. This kid is. He is a skilled fighter. He does know what he's doing. He does have heart. He does have skill. So,
and being
Likens is definitely going to have his hands full. This is not like, don't look at this kid's record and go, oh, he's 0-1. He lost his first.
Right.
No, don't look at him that way. Take the fight seriously. Take your training seriously. And because I promise you will have a fight on your hands.
Yeah. And, looking at an 0-1 fighter, especially when you dominate the first round, it could be a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
And then you lose a second. You're like, all right, in rounds you're 1-1, but your record just says 0-1. And looking at that fight, that's almost how you have to look at it. Like it was, because I remember that fight because I left, came back, and I'm like, oh, the fight's over. But the guy I thought won didn't win. Oh, man.
And then moving on, our boy James Haley, and going up against a Travis Bender. Travis out of West Virginia. Travis definitely looks like he's in the gym.
Yeah.
Looks like he's hitting the gym. I mean, he's real tore up. He's real ripped up.
Flexes a lot. Which anyone in the gym is. If I could, I would.
But seeing, based on what you see on social media and everything like that, I mean, he looks like a pretty big guy in comparison to James.
Yeah.
But then both fighters are. This fight is at 55. So.
Right.
Those pictures that you see of Travis on Facebook and other social media, that could be him at 170. That could be him at 180.
Yeah.
We don't know what this guy is
he was
going
supposed
to look
to
like
fight.
at 55.
He was supposed to fight Calhoun at 65, and then Calhoun couldn't fight, and he's dropping to 55 now.
Right. So he's cutting. He's probably cut a significant amount of weight for this fight. So, but other than knowing that he goes to the gym, he's probably in pretty decent shape. He's probably in pretty good shape. He looks like he's in good shape. He's from West Virginia. Again, I've always been real critical about fighters who come out of West Virginia as far as being a very wrestling-oriented fighter because of, or a tough man fighter, or both. So that's where you get that style with West Virginia newly adapting the whole cage mentality as opposed to the ring. You do have to still question how, how used to someone's going to be stepping foot in the cage for the first time, especially because I don't think Travis trains in a cage, whereas James does.
Right.
So James is very well adapted to the cage environment. I mean, hell, James is training in the cage that he's fighting in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys don't get that chance, that opportunity. So he's going to be very well adjusted. But then looking at both style of fight, we are assuming that Travis is more of a wrestler brawler. You know what I'm saying? Maybe opposite. Maybe he's more of a brawler wrestler.
Right. Brawl, shoot if you have
first.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we don't know. But again, that's what I love about seeing guys coming in, not knowing much about them, seeing them fight, and getting a chance to talk to them for the first time and get to learn what kind of fighter, what kind of person they are.
And then even though we know James,
right,
and we practice coaching, everybody changes a little bit in the cage. As soon as that door shuts, you're either amped up and ready to go, or you might pull back a little bit.
Exactly.
So
you're either gonna be gun shy, or you're gonna just,
because everybody's a practice superstar,
right?
If they're trying to fight. Well, not everybody. Most people are. But and no matter what you know about someone, especially like a teammate, once they're in the cage, it can always be a different story. So that's with two guys debuting. That's going to be, and it's hard to corner those fights too, because you don't know. That's why you and even for Travis, concentrate on what you're good at. Do it, James. We're going to be telling him the same thing. Work your game. Don't worry about the other guy.
Exactly. And then moving further up the fight card, the records are starting to progress a little bit here. We got Jamez Young, 0-1 versus a Dustin Freet, who is 0-2. A little bit more fights between the two fighters.
Yeah.
They're not making a debut. We saw Jamez fight Chris Miles out of Huntington, West Virginia for his debut. That was doing pretty good in the early rounds, dumped the gas tank in the later rounds, and Chris ended up out wrestling him and then getting the win. So... and he's training at Iron and Soul. Okay. So Jamez is. He's with the. Is it Gentry? Is that who am I talking? Is that who that?
I think so. Yeah.
Bill? Is it Bill?
Bill Gentry. I think so.
So he's definitely putting in the work. I can tell you that.
And they have a good team out there. So,
yeah, they do have. They have a good setup, a good team. They're really focusing on the MMA side of things as well as boxing. And but I could tell you that Jamez is putting in the work. You can see it. Hopefully he's working a lot on his conditioning, and hoping that he's working on, because part of training isn't just learning how to fight and working on your conditioning. It's also keeping your composure in the cage, and that's something that Jamez, I feel, is going to need to really focus on, so he doesn't have happen to him in this fight that happened to him. Yeah. And in his first fight where he got that dump, and then he ended up losing the fight because of that. Now Dustin Freet is no Chris Miles. Okay, Dustin hasn't fought in a couple years. I believe he's 0-2. Stylistically, physically, he's different than Jamez's first fight. Yeah. And Chris Miles is a good super heavyweight. Is a good super heavyweight. And Jamez, again, arguably was winning the fight in the early rounds against a very tough super heavyweight in Chris Miles, and now he's going up against a guy who hasn't competed in a couple years, who's physically smaller, weaker, and I don't mean that in a bad thing. I mean, you got
as far as we know, looking at his last fights,
you got to think. We're comparing here to Jamez's first fight with Miles, who is strong, big, strong guy. Yeah. This fight's not at super heavyweight. This fight's at heavyweight. So Jamez is cutting weight to get down to 265. Dustin is also, and I don't know if he needs to cut weight, if he's just naturally walking around the heavyweight weight anyway. We also don't know what Freet has been doing over the last couple of years, how his training regimen has he been training at all? He just decided, hey, fuck it, I want to get back in the cage. I can promise you this, if you just said, fuck it, I'm going to get back in the cage, this is not the right fight. This opponent is not good for you, because Jamez is killing it in the fucking gym right now. He's fought as of recent, and he was doing very well
against a good opponent.
Against a good opponent. Jamez is strong. Okay, he just happened to burn out and dump and he did it against
a wrestler.
Yeah, he did it against a wrestler. And Jamez also was wrestling the wrestler. So Dustin, I really hope that he's been training for this fight. Nothing kills me more than, talking to an amateur fighter and go, hey, where you train? Oh, I train out of my garage. Oh, well, what's your regiment look like? I don't really do much.
I hit the bag.
I roll around. My cousin did some amateur boxing 20 years ago. He's fucking teaching me some shit. Not a good fucking look, man. You got to come in prepared, especially against a guy like J-Maz. This dude's going to be a fucking killer, and he's going to be a top-tier heavyweight competitor in the amateur division as long as they can get him fights.
And especially, with the training out of your garage, when you're coming to Northeast Ohio, you can't do that.
Right.
Especially if you're fighting someone from here. Like, that just, everyone says, oh, there's levels to this game. Well, there are. One of them is training in your garage, and then way up here is going to a gym.
Right.
And then it progresses up from there. And, there's some promotions where, there aren't a lot of gyms around, so a lot of people do train at home. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's the option you have, you just got to be careful on, who you get matched up with. Because, teams matter. It's not a team sport. But who you train with, spar with, roll with, it can make a fighter better. So,
but yeah, no, like we saw that shit with Tristan Constant, where his first fight he was training as an independent fighter. I think it was because financially he couldn't afford to go to a gym.
Right.
And then he ended up losing his first fight.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Trying to get hold of Scott Corbin, matchmaker of the year, 2 years in a row, right?
Back to back.
Hello?
Mr. Scott Corbin, matchmaker of the year. We're on live.
Hi.
How's it going?
What's going on, Scott?
Am I on? Not much. What's up?
Yes, you're on the podcast right now. We got you on here.
Don't worry, we won't take up too much of your time, man.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So how busy are you today?
I'm extremely busy. I've actually probably had 5 phone calls so far in a row.
Nice. Is this 6?
Yeah.
They're just bugging you.
This is the 6th. This is the 6th.
Good. So,
and I'm actually expecting another phone call.
Nice. So how does it feel winning back-to-back matchmaker of the year?
Well, I guess it feels great.
It should. I mean, had the best promotion in Ohio, had the best event in Ohio, got the best matchmaker. What else could we want?
Oh yeah.
So any news or any breaking? What's the word I'm looking for? Breaking news. You want to throw out here for us?
Just looking to have a really good card for March 23rd.
Yeah.
We got January 19th lineup. Looks pretty good, pretty stout.
Yeah, we're halfway.
We got February 2nd,
Yep.
March 23rd.
How is the Cage Thunder card shaping up, man?
It's going pretty good. Actually, going really good. It sounds like the tables. I think they said the tables are already sold out.
Oh wow.
That's real good.
It's looking pretty good as well. I'm actually one of the phone calls I was on today was working out trying to put another pretty decent fight together. So.
Right on. We got all the medicals are done, all the blood work's done for the 19th. Honors ready to go. All the fighters were compliant.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, as of now, knock on wood.
Right.
But yep, everything's set in place for January 19th. Just got to get the itinerary made up and get it sent out.
So, in your opinion, last night, how do you think the new lighting rig is going to look with going around the cage next weekend?
I thought the setup they had up last night, it was pretty sweet. I think you said it was going to be, instead of the 4 sides, there was going to be more sides.
Yeah, it's going to be 6 sides, so the 6 trusses going up. So it's going to be. I think it's going to look pretty cool, but
it's going to be something that fight fans and fighters never seen before.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially
100%.
in this local area.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Locally, this is definitely next level production.
It's exactly what I said too. You ain't
for
see
sure.
nothing like this production value wise in Northeast Ohio. So,
For sure.
all right, Scott. Well, listen, man, we're not going to take up any more of your time. Thanks for coming on Rubber City Throwdown, and
I'll give you a call here in a little bit when we're done.
yeah, we'll talk at you.
All right,
soon,
yeah,
man.
because we gotta try to land, and then we gotta talk about some of those fights. So,
We got some business to do.
All right,
Yeah.
Scott.
All right, Scott, you take care.
all right, take care,
All
guys.
right, thanks.
Bye.
He did not want to do that.
He did not. He hates it. He hates it. Oh man.
All right,
But no, moving up. Let's talk about Justin Clevenger and Derek Hornbeck. Justin 1-3, Derek 2-7. Let's talk about this a little bit.
you know, oh man, this fights like this, we know both guys they have best intentions, right? But you don't know really how they're training. So that's it could be a great fight, it could be a hesitant fight, you know, but it's one that you have to watch, because if you don't, you're not going to get to know either of the guys, how they fight, their styles, if they made improvements, and then they're the types that they're at least going to try to better themselves, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and other than that, what weight are they fighting at?
70.
70. I was saying, didn't know if it was 55 or 70, but and yeah, I mean, there are a lot of welterweights. Like there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So whoever gets that win can start to climb that ladder, because they both have a decent amount of fights.
Right.
They get a couple wins in a row, move up to a winning record. They can be put ahead of some of the newer, welterweights that might be 2-0,
Right. Yeah.
getting matched up. So there's definitely an upside to that fight.
Yeah, well, definitely one thing that we're going to see in this fight, somebody, look at you.
Awesome. I unplugged the freaking, oh man.
But, no, one thing that I know about this fight, someone's going to get a win on this record to help with this losing record.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Let me jump in. This is third time these guys are meeting. Justin Meese and Roger Rice.
Grudge match.
The grudge match. Aren't they 1-1?
Yeah.
Together?
Are they 1-1?
I think they're 1-1 now. That's why they were here. This is the third and hopefully the final matchup between these two guys. I believe Roger won the first one and Justin won the second one, or vice versa. Regardless, however that one played out, they're here for a third match. I can't believe both fighters agreed to do this.
They requested it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They requested this shit. They said, "Oh yeah, we're willing to run it back." I remember doing the interview with these guys where they said, and this was Honor 2.
Yeah, Meese won the first, lost the second.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Meese won the first, and then Rice won it. So, yeah, the fact that these guys agreed, they requested, they want to do this again. They're both 1-1. They have that unfinished business, and hopefully we're gonna end this trilogy. Winner take all, third time's the
Don't be a
charm.
draw.
Is
the fourth rubber match.
that would be our luck too.
Yeah.
That it would end in a draw, and then we'd have to have these guys going up against each other again, man.
Yeah,
Like hands down.
But I mean, hey, if it happens, it happens. But I mean, there aren't a lot of times where you, like you were saying, you get two guys that are like, no, we want this fight,
Right.
like match this fight, and hey, they want it.
You want it, you got it.
Yep, no reason not to.
And then we got Darnell Truitt 3-3, and he's going up against a Treg Wells who's 8-8. So definitely we're getting a little bit more experience
Yeah.
now. The higher we climb this card, the more experience we're starting to see. Darnell Truitt is actually coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he fought as of recent, but he's coming off of a loss by what, split unanimous
Decision.
unanimous
Yeah,
decision.
he got wrestled.
Yeah, and then And I think we were talking about this before. Treg, who is a wrestler, correct? So Darnell, who struggles with wrestling, not necessarily a bad grappler. He's not bad at jiu-jitsu.
No.
Hell, he can even hit a fucking takedown or two.
Yeah.
But Treg, the guys who the grindy wrestlers, guys like Treg.
Guys that can get heavy
yes.
and stationary. That's
strong, heavy wrestlers. Darnell.
And by the way, Darnell, me and you have to talk next time I see you. Nothing big. It's personal, but just remind me we have to have a little conversation.
And we also don't know... I believe he's still at Victory, right? I mean, he works at Savage, correct? He's working at Savage.
He works there. I don't know. And with some, owners and coaches, sometimes it's...
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But no, last we knew Darnell was at Victory.
I don't see why he'd leave.
Right.
Like he wouldn't. He's not gaining anything by going over there. Victor's a much more established, better managed place. So
this fight's interesting. Like I said, it's historically Darnell has struggled with the type of fighter that Wells is.
Yeah.
And Treg, he's a strong guy. He's strong. Yeah. He is heavy. So, I'm curious because Darnell's a really good striker. But Darnell, as within the last year, you're starting to see him pile up some grappling tournament wins. He's improving.
He knows where he has to get better. He knows that there aren't a lot of...
I think Darnell's made a pretty good transition from the kickboxing lifestyle, Muay Thai kickboxing lifestyle that he was training in for a long time under Madigan.
Yeah.
And now he's starting to really make that smooth transition over to grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. That's going to complement his superior striking technique from the Muay Thai and kickboxing.
And also, there aren't a lot of guys that want to just straight stand up with Darnell. Right. Like there's a few guys that will. So, obviously, the game plan against him will be get him down, hold him down. And he obviously identified that. I'm sure, Blackwell saw that too.
Right.
And trying to get him right. But that's definitely like a interesting fight that, could be exciting. Like that could be, and Treg is one of the guys too. He's more than willing sometimes just to stand and bang too. So,
yeah.
That going to be a good fight to watch.
And let's talk about our big boys, Chuck Lamp, George Pointer. Chuck Lamp, his last fight, he had lost by TKO, I believe. He's going up against a George Pointer who is coming off of a win against a Christian Godoy.
Caceres, yeah.
So, and that was arguably could have been knockout of the year, at least a contender for knockout of the year. Real strong right hand that put Christian down. Chuck Lamp, though, not a stranger to throwing hands.
Not at all.
I don't think that this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to be a wrestling match. This isn't going to be a grappling match. This isn't going to be James Neff versus George Pointer. This is, you want to fight, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what you want to watch.
Yeah, this is the type of action that you want to fight. You want to come and see. This is going to be a scrappy, who wants it more fight. We don't know the condition of Chuck.
Right.
George, I mean, hell, we don't even truly know the condition of George.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, Chuck had some weight problems because he couldn't make it to heavyweight, whether it had been a personal thing, he had work, he had something going on. He just couldn't take, he just couldn't go through camp cutting that much weight.
Right, or at least get into camp in shape.
Exactly.
So
now I'm not saying that either one of these two gentlemen are going to come into this fight out of shape, but ultimately with
not like that. They're both out of shape, but they're fight ready. You know what I mean? It's man.
There's just, all I know is that they're going to throw hands. They're here to throw hands, and like I said, once they start getting tired, it's going to come down to who wants it more. Okay, it's not even so much who's in better shape, who wants it more. Because I think that both fighters are going to get as equally tired the longer the fight goes.
Oh yeah, and you show me an in shape super heavyweight, I'll never say they're out of shape again.
No, touche. I'll give you that. But I mean, this fight's either going to end fast or it's going to drag.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm
if it
saying?
drags, it's going to be like
But then again,
punishment on both guys.
yeah, no, it is. It is. That's what I say. You're gonna have to dig deep, and you're gonna really have to figure out what kind of fighter you are and what kind of fighter you want to be. I mean, granted, George's last fight, we thought that it could have quite possibly ended in the first round, and it made it to the second round.
Yeah.
I actually thought George was starting to gas out there, and then he connected with a huge right hand that put Christian down. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't expect that. George is very deceivingly fast. I've always said this
Yeah.
about Pointer. Very deceivingly fast.
And awkward.
I have trained with them. Because he's awkward. He's tall. He's got long arms. Especially if you don't have the reach. If you come in for a jab, you're eating a left hook.
Yeah.
You come across with the right straight, you're eating a right hook. You're gonna eat something.
Yeah.
You know, and he's really good at realizing when you're closing the gap.
Yep.
I'll try to close the gap on him in practice all the time, and I end up eating a jab every single time. And he's really good at a jab left hook. So it's just one of those things. Like it's either gonna end really fast, or it's gonna drag out, and we're gonna see a fucking war. And
Yeah.
I cannot wait for this fight.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and everybody wants to see the war. Everyone wants that
Yes.
until they see the knockout.
No, you're not lying, man.
And that one, you know, it's a dangerous fight for both guys, which makes it even more entertaining.
Right. All right, let's move on to Tony Tucker versus Robert Presley. Tony is 2-0. Robert is 4-4.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Tony? How do you feel about Tucker in this fight, man? Tucker is, last time I see, he was impressive. Very impressive fighter.
Well, what was his last fight? Was it against McCraney? Cage Thunder 1?
Was it? His last fight? It was against D'Angelo. Yeah, it was D'Angelo, Cage Thunder 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, he won that fight by armbar. So and his first fight was Warrior Nation against Matt Miller, and he won that by I think he won that by knockout in the first round, like 20 seconds or 21 seconds, some shit like that.
Oh wow.
It was like 20 seconds. So you saw him fight. You saw him fight McCraney, right?
Right. I'd helped corner McCraney for that fight.
So because I didn't see that fight. So
You know, that fight was, to the average fan, this is going to sound weird, but, you know, I'm pretty sure he was with Evolve at that time, if I remember correctly. So he was training, had some technique. Angelo was raw, and just showed up to fight.
right.
So it's hard to judge, just like, you know, when someone comes in and they're super wild and they have no training, they're hard to spar with. Because they're doing things you don't see, even if you're like, you know, what the hell are you doing? It's dangerous. Well, that was McCraney. You know, he running in, throwing wild punches, and he's strong. Like when they were grappling, you know, McCraney was the stronger fighter. The only reason McCraney got, you know, some good positions was because of his strength, but they didn't last long because of, you know, Tucker's the technique and training he had. So it's hard to say, you know, on what kind of level he's on, but he's scrappy. He fights. You know, he took some shots from D'Angelo, and you know has enough heart to keep fighting. This could be a fun fight to watch. Like both guys are athletic, so this could be a really
I've seen
fast-paced
Robert.
fight.
Yeah, I've seen Robert fight quite a few times. I mean, unfortunately, right now Robert's riding a 2-fight losing streak. But against Luke Chokin or Luke Chokin and Nolan Stahl, like two very tough opponents. With his last victory coming in when he beat Deshaun Morton, but Robert's. I've said I covered him a few times. I think it was like the first time I seen him fight, I think, is when he fought Max. RFO
Wow.
out in Cleveland, I believe. I think that's when I thought he fought Max. It was the first time I even heard the name. He's fought 5 times since then. Winning a majority of the fights. He lost to Max, went on a 3-fight winning streak. Actually beat Nolan Stahl by a decision. Ironically losing their second fight together by split decision, but I don't think that's that 2-fight losing streak. I honestly don't think it's going to even affect Presley. It's not going to dictate the outcome of this fight, and it doesn't mean that just because he's on a 2-fight losing streak,
right.
he's not prepared. He's prepared.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely going to be a good fight. It's going to be an explosive fight. And I said, I'm not questioning Robert's his cardio or his strength or anything. The last 2 fights where he lost by decision, he went all 3 rounds, man. So
Yeah, and like losses like that, those aren't really blemishes.
Yeah.
So it's not like, again, you can't look at those losses and be like, oh, he's on a losing streak. Like I said, this could be a really fun fight to watch. Not really. Do you know where Tucker's training at now?
not off the top of my head, I don't. But
I mean, either
probably
way,
something I could find out pretty quick. But off the top of my head, I don't.
yeah, it just that's another fight that, like I said, not just exciting to watch, but a fast-paced fight.
Yeah.
So, what a,
And then moving on, let's talk about Taylor Adair and Jacob Lowry. I'm interested.
yeah.
I am really interested. This is going to be a good fight, man.
Both guys want to be the top guy,
Yeah.
like both of them. So
And Taylor, he, both guys are undefeated, by the way. They're both 2-0. Taylor is coming off of a victory against Dominique Johns, man.
yeah, which not an easy win.
Not an easy
Not
win.
an easy win.
He's also coming on. He also beat Robert Johnston. But yeah, definitely not an easy fight to beat Dom. But Jacob is no pushover himself. He's again 2-0. Fought Justin. Was it Bislin? I think that's how you pronounce the last name. And then Josh Moyer was his debut. But yeah, no, both guys there. I mean, Jacob's what? He's Tapology's 58th ranked fighter right now. So I think that's for his weight class. I think he's ranked number 58 at light heavyweight. This fight's actually going to take place at 85. So we got another middleweight contest.
Yeah. And this is one of those fights that, I'm pretty sure like both guys are strong on the ground. It could cancel each other out, or the styles make fights. But I have a feeling that both these guys are going to try to prove something on their feet.
It's very possible.
I just have that feeling that they know how the other guy's game on the ground, so they're going to try and either outpoint or sprawl and brawl. That's I could be completely wrong, but I just have a feeling that's how these two are going to go, because they both want to be, they're trying to make a statement. Quit hitting pads so loud, messing up the podcast.
Hurry up, we're on camera.
Right.
And we got Jeff Ofak and Dakota Day.
That's an interesting fight. That's hard to, like, if we were doing picks, that'd be hard to pick.
It would be hard to pick, man. I mean, like, Jeff lost to Drew by decision
in a war. Like that
it wasn't like, it was unanimous. It was a split decision.
Yeah. Split decision. He almost left with Drew's arm.
Yeah. Like holy shit, this is gonna be a great fight, man. And we saw I saw Jeff's the first time in action when he fought Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Yeah.
Pinocchio.
Yep.
Fuck, I fucked that up.
Pinocchio, whatever.
Pinocchio, yeah, when he fought him at Honor Fight Fest, Honor 5. And then Jeff fought Honor 6 at Nautica, and against, tough fucking Drew. And so, but Dakota himself is not a pushing, he's not a walk in the park either, man. I mean, Jeff's 4-3, but Dakota's 5-3. You know, this guy's been through some fucking wars.
Is that 35? Bantamweight? Is that a bantamweight?
I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
it is at bantamweight.
Yeah, and that's the reason it's hard to pick is you have two game fighters, talented, good teams. It just, man, it's fight. You know, this card has a bunch of fights where sometimes I wish I didn't have anyone fighting on the card because I'm gonna miss a bunch of these fights.
Yeah.
And this is one of them I want to see.
Yeah, I mean Dakota, he fought. I remember, like I said, again, the first time I saw Dakota fight Honor 5, he fought Tim Fry. Tim Fry, who hadn't fought, he hadn't fought in a long time.
Yeah.
I believe he was coming in from Picowa.
Yep.
With Fightopia, and then he ended up winning. He beat Tim Fry by decision.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And that was a good fight.
it was a good fight. Both. This is going to be interesting, man. Do you think it goes to the ground?
I think it has to. Just the styles with both of them,
There's no, unless someone gets like a lucky one punch knockout, like right off the bat. There's no way, man. Yeah, between both these guys, I mean, especially after seeing the Drew Dixon fight with Jeff, there's no way. This fight definitely goes to the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even with Dakota's fight against him, it definitely,
they're gonna try to grind each other out so hard. It's gonna stand up, clinch, cage work, ground.
No, yeah,
and that's just I want to see that fight. And man, neither guy's afraid of blood. So,
and the next fight, man, our main event, the fight that I have a feeling people are going to be talking about, and Bluegrass MMA, man, y'all need to get your shit together and come up here and fucking watch this fight, because this fight right here could quite possibly be an early contender for fight of the year.
Yeah, this could set the bar pretty damn high.
Yeah, I mean, to start the year off with a main event like this for Honor Fighting Championship. I mean, you've got Jamal McClain, undefeated, 5-0, completely annihilated his last fight when he actually won the 85 title.
Yeah.
And then we've got Michael Ado, who has thrashed everyone that he's gone up against.
In multiple weight classes.
Yeah, multiple weight. He's been bouncing from 55 to 70.
45 to 70.
Even 40, all the way to 45.
In Michigan, yeah. He fought at 45.
His last fight at 45,
Yeah.
that was the guy he knocked out in the second round.
Yep.
I mean, I watched that fight, and I mean, I will say that the margin for error is small, but it's not impossible. I mean, Michael is a fantastic wrestler. I believe he's a college. I think he's a college level wrestler. He is very strong. He's very bursty. He is very heavy when he wrestles. He is really good at keeping his weight on you. He's really good at following you in transition. If you roll, he roll. He's sticky.
That
He'll
pressure.
stick right.
The pressure. Yeah.
He's really good at applying that wrestling pressure. And but where you see that is you see the weakness on the ground. Okay, you can see where he's not comfortable making the transition from wrestler to jiu-jitsu. Which is, probably why he doesn't have a shit ton of submissions on his record. But like,
he's like the old school, like Matt Hughes type. He has enough to stall and get away. He's not gonna, try.
I wouldn't even compare him to that. No, I honestly wouldn't even compare him to that, man. I I mean, his last fight, the guy that he fought in the beginning of early round one, threw hands, and Mike just fucking ate whatever shots came in and countered.
Yeah.
Counter hit him with like 2 or 3 shots, and then boom, set him up, level change, set up for the takedown, went straight for the takedown, successfully got it. Guy gave him his back, and he threw the hooks and flattened him out. Now this is where you can start to see where he's human a little bit. You can hear his coaches, hey, underhooks. He's trying to figure out how to flatten him out. He wasn't flattening him out. Then he finally got the underhooks while he flattened him out. And he kept looking at his corner like, what do I do? What do I do? And his corner's like, hey, choke him, go ahead and get the rear naked. And he fought for a little bit, but you can tell that that's not what he wanted to do. That wasn't his game plan. He wasn't looking for the rear naked choke. He wanted more.
Ground and pound.
He ended up getting full mount, and then he started laying on the elbows. And in Michigan, in the rules, there's advanced amateur rules. They're allowed to elbow in Michigan. So he full mount, started dropping the elbows, and that's basically where the entire first round was, and that's where the first round ended, was with him on top of him, beating the shit out of the guy that he was facing. And then 10 seconds in the fucking round 2, he ends up catching a dude with a good right cross, gets him behind his head, some dirty boxing, and just started repeatedly uppercutting the fuck out of this dude until he fell down. So, Michael is a very, very fast, bursty wrestle fighter. Yeah. Now, what
athletic,
I did say, super athletic.
Yeah.
What can hurt him in this fight is just that. It's cockiness, ego. That could lead to potentially him losing this fight. And what I mean by that is his last fight. He started the fight off, his hands completely down, head out, kind of doing like a little Anderson Silva head move.
Maul is too long and accurate to do that against.
Yeah. And it's I don't think it's that's the first time I've ever seen Michael fight like that, and a part of me thinks it's because he's 7-0, he's about ready to go pro, he's got a couple titles under his belt already. And now he's getting cocky. Now he's like, let's make a show out of it. The moment you start getting cocky like that and you start going, okay, let's make a show out of it, that's
open yourself up.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You drop your hands, you put your head out, you stick your tongue out, and you end up getting caught.
Yeah. But he's a smart kid too, though.
Yes.
Like he's not stupid. Like if he sees something in someone's game, then he does that. It's not on the fly. I'm just being a prick kind of thing. Like it's a mental, it's a head game. At least I'm assuming that's what it is. That's with talking to him, and I think when he looks at the fight, with Maul, I'm hoping he knows. Anything he does should have a point behind it, and not just running in to, look good and fight okay.
Yeah, because I really, I hope that he does respect.
Yeah.
He does respect Maul.
And if he doesn't, he will.
Yeah.
I know it's Maul's just a well-rounded fighter. I mean, he's really good at a lot of things, so it's not like we can't say like, oh man, his striking is so amazing, because it's really good, and his scramble is really good, and he grinds, and
he is super fucking grindy too, man. And it's like I haven't been.
And he's tough. He doesn't get hit and back off. He can stay in the pocket. He can shoot from outside.
2 fights ago, he fought Fatig.
Yeah.
And he put Fatig through like the fight of his life, and that's where you kind of showcase. Well, Maul really showcased his heart and how much determination he had in the fight.
What do I gotta do to get this guy out of here?
Exactly, and then and Fatig was a pretty good wrestler too. Yeah. And then obviously when he fought Fred Davis, you really saw the power, the strength, the reach that Maul had, and his
that
ability
was a showcase,
to be able to put someone down fast.
Who's on a different level, you know what I mean, than some of the other guys, and in that weight class, you've got a lot of guys in the middle ground that are really right there, and then you have Maul, and then there's a couple of other guys up there with him, but we're talking about Maul, and with him coming down to 70, I don't think that's a tough weight cut for him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think it's tough.
This is going to be a good fight, man. either these guys are going to give each other the respect they both deserve, and it's going to be one of those feeling out process, and they go, oh, I don't know, like someone's going to be afraid to initiate because, I don't know,
Yeah.
But judging from what I've seen in both fighters, I think Ato's going to come out like he did when he fought Ben.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come out aggressive. He's going to
want to be applying the pressure and controlling the pace. If he lets Maul do it, he's going to be on the outside of every punch thrown.
Yeah.
And then that's where Maul has the advantage with the reach. So we'll see whose footwork and game plan keeps one guy on the outside or lets Ato get on the inside.
Yeah.
That at least that's what I'm assuming. I mean, we might see a fucking the flying jump kick to Travis Brown's face from Verdum. Never know, but that's another one. Both our guys will be done, so we can actually watch that fight.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to actually commentate on that fight too. It's going to be a good one, and this basically sets up for Ato. I think it really sets him up for to go pro at this point. It'll be his 8th win. If he wins, it'll be his 8th win, like his 3rd title.
And he'll most likely defend it and then go pro.
Yeah, unless he petitions the state to go pro at 8-0 and gets approved. Yeah. Which I think that if he wins this fight against Maul, it's basically just proved.
Yeah.
Who else is he gonna fight, man? Who else do you put up against a guy who's 8-0 with 3 titles? Who's literally one fight?
There is one fight that would make sense. I can't get into it right now.
Okay.
Because as you know, I work with Honor. The fight that if everything plays out correctly, there is a big fight that sells. It makes sense, and it's a good fight.
Yeah.
So, and that's if Ato doesn't take a fight and go pro. In the meantime, which always could happen.
You're right.
But for the stage that it would be on, which would be in August, there's a hint.
But is Ato gonna wait that long?
That's what I mean. It's in a perfect world.
Yeah.
It could be before that, but if I'm Ato's manager, or Maul's manager, either one, whoever wins this fight, if I'm managing Ato and I'm like, hey, the stage that you're gonna have, it could be worth the wait, especially when you make that pro debut.
Right.
It's worth it. If I'm Maul's manager, you take that fight. Like you're doing it. Like no reason not to. So, and then like I said, there's 3, 4 people involved.
I have a couple ideas, but
yeah. So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's there's some moving parts to it, but it's if it all works out, 10 out of 10 amazing. If it doesn't, 9 out of 10. There's still going to be people to put in there, but
that all factor is there regardless.
Yeah.
So
but if you're Ato, you get a win, or even if if he loses, then he fights again, gets in another win, go pro.
Yeah.
Like he's at that level. He's got enough fights, and
he's ready. I think he's ready. He just needs to.
And the whole thing with petitioning, everyone can do it. But then it's the part like, I'd just rather fight than write a letter.
Yeah.
And it sounds stupid, but it happens. I'm about to tell you guys to shut up.
Yeah. Here, shut the hell up. Bit of a podcast. But no, that's it for the. That's it for the card rundown, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you guys do not want to miss this card. Honor Fighting Championships event. Again, if you want your tickets, go to www.fightertix.com. Make sure you support your local fighter. There are seats available online still. If you don't want to go online, make sure you get your tickets at the door. It's located at 2481 South Arlington Road, Akron, Ohio, 44319. Again, that's at the Chapparelles Event Center at 2481 South Arlington Road, Akron, Ohio, 44319. And you can go to their website at www.honorfightingchampionship.com. for more information. And again, I want to thank Honor Fighting Championship, Cage Thunder, OCW, and Spinebuster University.
Big Dog Boxing.
Big Dog Boxing.
Look out for them
And,
in this coming year. We also have a couple surprises coming up in the next couple podcasts. So
we'll make some changes, possibly some new segments, and possibly some new hosts
shows,
coming in.
yeah.
So until next time, guys.
we're out.